Welcome to the fourth and final module of Continuing Education on Feeding Assistance and Nutrition in the Elderly. This module will discuss food and feeding safety of the elderly during meal times. This module should take approximately 15 minutes to complete. After completing this module, you will understand general food and feeding safety guidelines, learn what therapeutic and texture-modified diets are and why they are so important for residents to follow. Be familiar with what to do when someone is choking and review the steps of the Heimlich maneuver. Elderly are a high-risk population for infections and illness. Their bodies cannot fight off germs as well as younger people. Infections, bacteria, and germs can all be spread to a resident through food contact. It is important to be cautious when assisting a resident at meals to prevent the spread of germs. We will discuss some ways to help avoid direct contact and the spread of germs to residents' food. The first way to avoid the spread of germs that we will talk about is hand washing. Hand washing is the single most important thing you can do to prevent and control the spread of germs and bacteria. Before the meal, you and the resident should always wash your hands. Remember to wash hands by vigorously rubbing them together for 20 seconds with plenty of soap and hot water. 20 seconds is about the length of time it takes to sing or hum the song Happy Birthday from beginning to end twice. Remember, after washing, to not touch the sink handle or doorknob. Use a paper towel to touch these. When assisting a resident at mealtimes, there are a few things to keep in mind. When handling a resident's drinkware, be sure not to put your hands or fingers near the rim. Even if your hands are clean, they should not be near the area of the cup where the resident's mouth will touch. Never, ever put your fingers in their cup. If there is something in the cup, get another one. Do not touch the inside of it. Always hold drinking glasses at their base and hold mugs by their handles. When handling a resident's plate, never touch the eating surface of the plate where the food touches or touch food with your fingers. Make sure you hold a plate full of food at the very outer rims or from underneath to prevent touching. Be sure to hold all utensils by their handles. Never touch the part of the utensil that goes in the mouth. When getting a resident food from the kitchen, never touch it with your bare hands. Have the food put on a plate and covered or in a bag. When opening condiment packets, always open with scissors or clean hands. Do not use your teeth to open it. Also, when spreading the condiments on food, always use utensils. Also, never touch the food with a bare hand. Always use gloves or a napkin when you are spreading condiments on a food item. The temperature of the resident's food is important. If the food is too hot, it can cause burns. The temperature of the food can be checked before they consume it. You can either A, use a clean spoon or fork to dip in the food and then place a drop on the back of your hand, or B, place your hand directly above but not touching the food to feel the steam. If either of these are too hot for your hand, then it is too hot for the resident to eat. Never blow on the resident's food to help cool it down. This can spread germs. Instead, stirring can help to cool the food down. If hot food is not hot or cold food is too warm, always send the food back to the kitchen. If the food is not cooked or cooled to its proper temperature, this may cause illness in the resident. In the next few slides, we are going to test your knowledge of what you have learned in this module so far. If the food in these pictures below was being fed to a resident, can you figure out what the feeding assistant is doing wrong? If you said hand to food contact, you were correct. Remember, you never want to make direct contact with a resident's food because this increases the chance of spreading germs. In this picture, a feeding assistant is spreading jelly on a resident's piece of toast in a napkin. Are they doing this correctly or incorrectly? If you said, "Correct," you were right. This feeding assistant is spreading jelly on the toast using a knife and is holding the food in a clean napkin. This is acceptable because it is not direct contact. Okay, this is the last one. Someone just served the resident you are assisting coffee. To see if this is too hot for the resident to drink, what can you do? The correct ways to test if this drink is too hot is to either place your hand above the coffee to feel the steam, or use a clean spoon and dip it in the coffee and place a drop on the back of your hand. Remember, if either of these feel too hot for your hand, they are too hot for the resident to drink.